so lovely to have you back. I have an exciting video today. Today's going to be back to the basics of baking. We're going to be making these cute little apple crumbles, serving size for one. So if you're wanting to have just a delicious little sweet treat that's baked, super easy to make, these little apple crumbles are perfect. I've been definitely enjoying them because I can make them in about 30 minutes. Okay. I can make them in about 15 minutes by prepping and then another 25 to 30 minutes baking. So technically 45 minutes. But they're really delicious and exactly one portion. So let's go ahead and bake these cute little things. After we're done baking them and they're cooling down a little bit, we're going to go ahead and talk about one of the books I've also just finished reading. I absolutely loved it and highly recommend it. So let's go ahead and bake first and then talk about some books after. So I'll see you guys in the kitchen. For this recipe, we're going to be grabbing ourselves a small to medium-sized apple and taking off the peel, but just real quick, it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a rustic feel to our apples. We're going to then cut the apple in half, and we're going to cut that half also in half. So we're going to quarter our apple. We're going to decore it as well, so we're just going to cut slightly kind of diagonally into the apple to get rid of that core. And then we can cut these into quarters or halves or thirds. It kind of depends on how chunky and how bitey you want your apple crumble. I'm cutting mine into quarters, and then I'm going to cut them into kind of small little inch-sized pieces. If you have any apple left over, go ahead and eat it. You know, the great thing about apples, you can always eat the leftovers. Now we're going to go ahead and transfer all of our little apple pieces to a bowl that's a little bit bigger than our ramekin. We're going to be adding a few ingredients to this. So first you're going to need a tablespoon and a teaspoon. We're going to be adding about 1 tablespoon of sugar. You can do a little less if you don't want your cobbler to be so sweet. 1 teaspoon flour. About a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and you're going to grab a little bit of a cinnamon with your butter knife and just add that directly in there. Now grab yourself a spoon and just mix it all up until it's well combined. Now our filling's actually done, so we can scoop all of these wonderfully smelling apples directly back into our ramekin and just use the spoon to kind of press them down, making sure they're very well compact. Now for the crumbly tops. Here we're going to grab the same exact bowl we were using for the filling. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. This is going to make enough for 2 ramekins, so you can split this recipe in half if you don't want enough for 2 ramekins. I just wanted a lot of crumble. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of oats. About a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of sugar, depending on how sweet you want it. And I'm adding just a little dollop of molasses. If you don't have molasses, don't worry, but it does add a wonderful flavor. You can also use brown sugar instead of white sugar. And again, a little tiny knife end of cinnamon. We're going to add some softened butter, about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Now we can grab ourselves a fork and we're just going to push all of these ingredients together until it starts clumping. If you're having a hard time, you can always pop on a glove and use your fingers. I went ahead and did that. And then we're going to also add a little pinch of salt, making sure the flavors are well nice and combined. Once all combined and the dough is starting to stick together like this, we can start adding it directly on top of our apples. You can add as much crumble or as little crumble as you like, but I like a ton of crumble on the top of mine. Now to bake. We're going to be baking this for about 25 to 30 minutes or until the top of the crumble is nice and brown and the apples are soft. that is baking, I wanted to talk about one of the books I just finished, and it's honestly just a delight to read, and it's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I'm one of those people that if I get told to read a book or watch a movie, I don't want to watch it or read it anymore because the hype has been so hyped up that I just question if I'm actually really going to like it. However, I was in the bookstore the other day. This book was on the shelf, it was in English, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna just pick it up and read it. And I loved it. I thought it was so cute, and it's just a delight to read. And it's a very different type of fantasy than what I was expecting. It's honestly a lot shorter. I mean, it's only 300 pages long, and this is big font. So it's not your average fantasy that's 800 to 1200 to 1500 words. It's a very quick read, very sweet read. And it's not your journey in the sense of somebody traveling from point A to point B. Instead, we're following a journey of this character, Viv, creating her dream, her want, her future in a cafe. So we're instead staying in our little spot, and we're getting to know the characters around her, and we're getting to know the world around her. And I just thought it was really well done. I was kind of curious as to why Travis would want to write a book like this. And there's a question and answer thing at the end of the book, and he talks about how he thought he wanted something more cozy, more comfy, and something that's just a delight to read, especially, you know, when things were a little closed and you couldn't do anything. And so he decided to write this book, and what a delight. It honestly is your cozy, comfy book in a cafe, and I'm gonna be 100% honest. My dream would be to open a cafe, and this is exactly the kind of cafe I would open, except for there'd be books everywhere. But I just thought this was such a delight to read. I think if you're looking for something truly cozy and comfy, quick to read, you can sit down on the sofa with a cozy cup of coffee, sit outside on a beautiful day. This is a great book to read, and it's not just for the fall. I found it actually really nice to read it for the spring when I just wanted something nice to read. So 100% recommend this. I jump between a 4 and a 5 with this book because I guess I would have to put it as a 5 because I say my 5-star books are books that make me think. Well, this book technically makes me think because it makes me think about my wants and dreams for the future. I feel like a Viv right now, the character in the book, because she is aiming to complete something for her future. We follow her on this journey of creating her future, her want for her future, and that's exactly what I want to do. I want to open up a cafe with all my baked goods and books, and so I guess this would be a 5-star for me because it makes me think about what I want to do in the future and what I want to accomplish. So truly an amazing, amazing read, and I 100% recommend it. And I'm not hyping it up in the sense of all the other hypers. I'm recommending as a friend to another friend, or you should read this book. So honestly, that's all I read. But I think our apple crumbles should be almost ready. So let's go ahead and check up on those. And then I was thinking about putting them on a plate and putting some ice cream right on top because it's beautiful and sunny outside, and I would love to get outside and enjoy a really tasty warm apple crumble with some ice cream on the balcony. So let's go ahead and let's casually walk and check on our apple crumble. So I hope you enjoyed that recipe. Like I said, it's perfect for one person. If you want to have it just for yourself and just like a warm, cozy thing, it goes perfectly with Legends and Lattes. So if you want to have it with coffee and a crumble and Legends and Lattes, I think you have a perfect little trifecta. But honestly, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this bake. If you try it out, let me know in the comments below, or you can find me on Instagram and share your bake on Instagram. It's always lovely to see what you guys are baking. You can find me here, or I'll also post it in the description below so you can find me there. And make sure you comment about any baked goods that you want to see or any books that you recommend me to read. I'm always looking for new reads. And yeah, if you want to follow along on any other books, bakes, or cozy content, come join me at my little cozy corner and subscribe down below, and I would love to get to know you. You can always send me a message on Instagram and I would love to chat. So until next time, I think I'm going to be doing another fun little bake next as well. So until next time, I hope you have a fantastic day, a lovely evening or morning, and a gosh darn fantastic weekend. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao!